Hi guys, and welcome back, or welcome to Quack and Abby. Today, obviously, it's just Abby. So we kind of unintentionally deserted this channel. We've been super duper busy. I'm sure you guys can relate. Life just gets in the way. I've been super busy. I've been like crazy busy nesting and preparing for this baby that's coming. And Quack's job takes a ton of time. He is also super duper busy. So yeah, you know, we've just been busy with life, and weeks have gone by, and yeah, I decided that I was gonna film today. As most of you know, or you've probably figured out by now, I am pregnant, and as I'm filming this, tomorrow I will be 25 weeks. Let me see if I can give you a little bump. There she is. We're having a little girl. 25 weeks. I cannot believe it. I'm pretty sure our first video, that the only other video we have on this channel, I was only maybe 12 weeks pregnant. Wasn't even really showing yet. So that was so long ago. Yeah. Anyway, since I am pregnant, I have been watching so many videos on what to expect when you're expecting, and birth vlogs, and what it's like giving birth, and postpartum, and you know, first week with a newborn, all kinds of prenatal and maternal videos. And I feel like, not all videos, but I feel like some people hold back a little bit on their experiences, which is totally understandable, right? It's a very personal, intimate, private experience. The changes that your body goes through, giving birth, they're all very intimate and private to most people. I am going to try to kind of take one for the team today and just get into some more intimate details about what I've experienced so far in my pregnancy. A lot of these things could be considered gross. A lot of these things could be considered TMI. A lot of these things could be considered not appropriate to talk about according to our society. But you know what? I really wish I knew these things before I got pregnant. So hopefully, maybe this will help someone who is only like a month pregnant or is planning on getting pregnant, and they just want to know what really is going to happen. You can definitely look these things up, but even I have experience looking things up, and like, I would suggest not Googling things and looking them up, because they really, there's good resources out there, but there's also a lot of resources out there that, first of all, will tell you lies, but second of all, will tell you like the worst case scenario, right? And it will just scare you, and yeah. So that being said, I am by no means a medical professional. Please, 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 if you have any questions or concerns, please bring them up to your OBGYN or your doula or your midwife or whoever you work with during this pregnancy, whoever you work with, are planning on working with for your delivery, whatever, whoever, please, please, please get a hold of them. But I am just going to talk to you about my personal experience and what my OB has told me is totally normal and nothing to be concerned with. Just maybe to give some people a little peace of mind out there and some reassurance. Not everything is going to be super gross what I talk about, but I feel that all these things are important to talk about, because I had no idea about any of these things going into my pregnancy. Had no idea, and it just happened unexpectedly, and yeah, I figured I would talk about those things. So the first thing I really wanted to talk about today was cramping or pain down there in the cervix or vaginal area, or your uterus. So during the first trimester, it's very, very common to feel cramping, because especially if it's your first pregnancy or any number of pregnancy, you can experience cramping in the first trimester, because your uterus is stretching out. Your uterus stretches out to something like 100 times its size. We're so incredible, you guys, what our bodies can do. It's amazing. Your uterus stretches out huge to accommodate the growing baby inside of you, okay? So it's perfectly normal to experience some cramping, especially in the first trimester, and especially if it's your first baby. Your uterus is never stretched out like that before, so you're going to experience some cramping, for me anyway. And for me, it felt like menstrual cramps. I sometimes would even like forget what they were and just felt like I was on my period. I've even been told that some light spotting and bleeding is perfectly normal. But again, if you're experiencing these things, please, please, please check in with your medical professional that you go to, okay? I had a brief idea of this, that it's normal to experience cramping in the first trimester, but what I didn't know is you can actually experience cramping throughout your whole pregnancy. Your uterus continues to grow as your baby continues to grow, okay? You're gonna have cramping. It's totally normal to have cramping, some mild cramping throughout your whole pregnancy. My OB just told me that if it's really severe, if it's partnered with a lot of bleeding, if it's consistent and goes into a pattern, that can be cause for concern, because that could be signs of early labor, like contractions, you could be miscarrying, blah, blah, blah. But I would personally freak out if when I first became pregnant and I felt these cramps, and I would go into the second trimester, was still feeling some of these cramps, was freaking out, thought I was I wasn't miscarrying. It's totally normal for a lot of women, for a lot of people who can get pregnant, and who choose to get pregnant, to feel these mild cramps throughout pregnancy. My OB, she also told me that Braxton Hicks, I'm only 25 weeks. When I went in for my 24-week appointment, she said I can even feel Braxton Hicks at this early on in my pregnancy. You can feel Braxton Hicks throughout your entire pregnancy. I'm not sure about first trimester. I'll put that down below, but she said that you can feel Braxton Hicks very, very early. That's not just early labor in your third trimester. You can feel Braxton Hicks very, very early on, totally normal. Also, something I didn't know about, some other pain I didn't know about, was round ligament pain. I had no idea about this. The ligaments are the ligaments that attach your uterus to your pelvic floor, I believe, or your cervix. It attaches your uterus to you, to the inside of you, okay? And as your uterus is growing, these ligaments get stretched, and it kind of hurts. I'm not gonna lie. Some people experience it, some people don't. My sister and my mother told me they never experienced this. My other sister told me, oh yeah, it sucks. Like, I've been experiencing it. It really hurts, especially if I like turn the wrong way, or if I'm really full because I just ate and everything's like crowded in there. The ligaments get stretched out even more. So yeah, it just feels like, let me see if I can point it out to you guys. If you can see, like, this is like where my crotch is. It's from your crotch and on the sides right here. So it's on both sides, down from your crotch up to like where your uterus on the top, okay? And it's just like this like stretching, cramping, shooting pain that sometimes you can feel them getting stretched or pulled. And I had no idea that was a thing before I got pregnant, and lo and behold, it's a thing. And it sucks if you do experience it. It's not that bad. I don't want to scare anybody, but like, yeah, it's uncomfortable. It hurts. Oh, the other, and kind of like, this is still number one. This is going to be kind of a long video. But the other thing that I've experienced that I had no idea was a thing is something called lightning crotch. Lightning crotch is when your baby kicks or is close to the top of your cervix inside of you. She kicks or lays on or whatever, touches a nerve that is in or on top of your cervix, and you can feel it shooting through your vagina. That's what lightning crotch is. It's literally a jolt of pain that goes through your vagina. It sometimes can go through your anus as well. But again, it's just a nerve that your baby hits that's on top of everything, and that nerve shoots pain through, it's usually your vagina, but it has gone through my anus before. Told you I'm gonna be TMI. So lightning crotch, definitely something that I did not know was a thing until I felt it, and I was like, what the fuck is that? Most of these things started happening in the second trimester, I would say. So going into my pregnancy, first trimester was like, yeah, you know, I'm feeling a little bit of nausea, which we'll go into. I'm feeling a little bit of food aversions, blah, 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 you know, like the typical things that most people know about going into your pregnancy, right? But then I went into the second trimester and there were so many things that happened to me that I had no idea about. I was like, what the fuck is happening? Like, no one tells you about these things. This is just, again, this is just my experience. Maybe like you've never felt these things or felt them from the beginning, but second trimester was like, what the hell is happening to my body? It was weird. The second thing I really want to talk about is anxiety and depression. This is actually something that was in the very beginning for me. So this is something that I wasn't really expecting. I, of course, expected moodiness. I expected mood swings. You know, I expected to have like hormonal behavioral things happening, but to the extent and exactly what that entailed, I had no idea. So for me, I would say throughout the first trimester into the second trimester, I experienced, I would say, severe to not like high anxiety and depression. I am someone who has experienced and dealt with anxiety and depression throughout my whole life. So I know exactly what it feels like. I know exactly what, you know, it entails. I know exactly what it is when it comes up, right? And before I got pregnant, I was in such a good place mental health wise. So when it hit, I was like, oh shit, like I know exactly what this is. This sucks. And it was just because it was a few different things. It was my body experiencing a surge in hormones, right? You become pregnant and it's like, boom, like after like the second or third week, you can start experiencing all kinds of symptoms. Like your hormones start pumping. It's like immediate, your body starts changing, right? So the surge in hormones, that immediate surge in hormones can be a lot for your body to experience, for you to experience. And mentally, I would say I plummeted big time. This isn't for everyone. Some people have told me that they felt great throughout their whole pregnancy. Okay, so it could be completely different for you. For me, first trimester was, for lack of a better word, miserable. I was super anxious and depressed because of these hormones. It was also because of different things that I all of a sudden had to stop doing. Okay, so I'll be honest with you guys, I utilize THC. So obviously had to stop doing that. That's just what I feel comfortable not doing during my pregnancy, is not smoking THC, not smoking marijuana. I know some people still do, but I felt more comfortable stopping that. So that was that sudden need to stop completely. You know, that like sadness with that specifically only lasted like a couple of weeks, because we all know that marijuana is not really physically addicting. So it only took a couple weeks, but still it was hard, you know, to anything that you're used to doing, anything that you're used to utilizing to make you feel better, is hard to just all of a sudden give up, you know? So that was another thing that kind of gave me anxiety. Plus marijuana helps my anxiety anyway. You know, that was why I smoked it. That's why I utilized it, was for my back pain and to help me sleep because of my anxiety. So that was tough. And also a lot of people go through this phase called mourning your old self. Okay. Pregnancy can definitely trigger that, because it's just something so new. It's something so different. You don't feel like yourself anymore because you're pregnant. Again, all these things after the first trimester got way better. You know, it's kind of wild, black and white, how I feel. My hormones have leveled out now. I'm used to not smoking. I'm used to being pregnant, and I'm more prepared for the future. And I know that my life isn't over as I know it. So my anxiety and depression has way subsided. It does, however, make me very, very nervous for postpartum. I know that a lot of people struggle with postpartum depression and anxiety. So, you know, if it comes, it comes, and I'll just have to get through it. Let me try to get comfortable here. Oh, back pain is another thing. Oh my God. Lower back pain. So another thing that might be kind of gross to some people is gas, bloating, and constipation. First trimester was the worst for the gas, dude. There was so much flatulence. I was farting all the time. It was so bad. But it's gotten a little bit better. I still am pretty gassy and really burpy. But lots of constipation, lots of bloating, to the point where sometimes it can even make me a little nauseous in the middle of the night. It's happened a few times, and I just have to get up and I burp or fart, and then I feel better and I can go back to bed. It's like, I don't really, whatever. I'm just gonna tell you guys that that's what happened to me, and I've heard a lot of other people experiencing that too, having a lot of gas and nausea, and it all kind of being intertwined. Did not know that those things were connected before I got pregnant, or could be. Not for everyone, but they were for me. The next thing I want to talk about is morning sickness. So I actually got really lucky with morning sickness, or lack thereof. That was like the least of the troubles I went through my first trimester. Now everyone pretty much knows, I'm pretty sure most people know that people who get pregnant, when they're pregnant, especially in your first trimester, you can feel really nauseous. It's called morning sickness. We've all heard of it. But there were certain things about morning sickness that I did not know about. For example, I didn't know that like some women just don't really feel it at all. I didn't really feel it at all. I felt nauseous a few times. It would come in waves. My nausea was also associated with being hungry. I would try to eat something and I would feel whirlwinds better. My nausea was also linked to food aversions. I could not stand the smell of fried rice. Like I don't know what it was that my husband would cook or use to cook fried rice, but he would try to be sneaky and cook some fried rice, and I'm like, oh, you're cooking fried rice, and I wanted to barf so bad. Like I hated it. I'm good with it now, but in fact, I even kind of crave it now. And it was also now, like, it's weird because my morning sickness wasn't that bad. It went away by like 10 weeks. The waves that I was talking about, but the past few nights it's been coming back. It's been linked with gas for me, but I also have been doing some research, and it can come back because your baby's growing and is pushing on your stomach. So that's something I didn't know. I didn't know that your morning sickness can come back because of that. It's not even like really morning sickness. It's just nausea that's associated with your baby's squishing your stomach and squishing all of your guts. It can make you feel nauseous, and it's not nearly as bad as my waves I had in the first trimester, but it still comes back every once in a while. And again, it's usually because of gas or because baby is squishing my stomach. Did not know that. Crazy. Okay, so the next thing I wanted to talk about was fatigue. Okay, I already knew that pregnant women can get really, really tired. I think a lot of people know that. Pregnant people can get really, really tired in their pregnancy, especially in the first trimester. Yo, I was never really a napper. I was a napper like in early college days and high school, But in my adult years, I was not a napper at all. I got pregnant, oh my God, I would pass out for like 4 hours during the day. I'm very lucky and fortunate that I can find the time to do that. But yeah, I would pass out. I was exhausted in the first trimester. Second trimester though, a lot of people say they get like a jolt of energy in the second trimester. I'm still exhausted. Like I am almost into the third trimester and I am still really tired, you guys. I never really experienced that jolt of energy. Now, is it as bad as the first trimester? Am I still like passing out for 4 hours? No, I'm not. I might just take little snoozes here and there, but I'm still really tired and it takes nothing to make me feel tired. I can like clean up the house and I'm like exhausted afterwards. I go grocery shopping, I come back, I'm like, all I want to do is sit on the couch. Like my back hurts, I'm tired. Like I want to take a nap. Like it takes nothing anymore to just knock me out. Yeah, it's crazy. I think a lot of it now is still hormonal. You know, the hormones can make you very tired, but also a lot of it is your growing belly. Like physically, it's just exhausting. And I heard that a lot of people experience this a lot in the third trimester too, when they're really big. Your back hurts, your hips hurt, you're just tired. Like you're physically achy and tired because you're just so big and you're carrying around a baby inside of you. Like it's exhausting. So that jolt of energy that supposedly happens to a lot of people in the second trimester is great, but didn't really happen to me. Never really got that. I do experience a lot of nesting. So I'll like feel tired, but still want to like deep clean the house. Okay, so the next thing I wanted to talk about was dreams, like really intense dreaming and nightmares. I have been experiencing some of the worst horrific nightmares I have ever experienced in pregnancy. Before I got pregnant, I would get some nightmares, but they were usually just like anxiety dreams, or like even if I did have dreams, they weren't super vivid. They were vivid enough for me to remember a lot of the time. Like I definitely would have like prophetic dreams and things like that a lot of people talk about, but I have never experienced dreams like I have during my pregnancy. One nightmare I have a lot is that I'm back with my ex and I like full-fledged panic because that ex was super mentally, emotionally, and even sometimes physically abusive. And it was a horrible, toxic, abusive, horrible relationship. And I have a nightmare that I'm back with him and I feel trapped and I panic and I'm like, oh my God, where's Quack and my husband now? And yeah, I don't know if it's just because my need for him is even stronger now because I'm pregnant. So my nightmare is not being with him at all. I don't know, but it's really intense. And especially in the first trimester, I had like really violent nightmares. Like someone was chasing me through the woods and with an axe, or, you know, a baby got hurt and I like saw the baby, and like just horrible. Yeah, really bad. So I don't know why this happens. I've heard of other people who have been pregnant before, who are pregnant or whatever, experiencing this as well. I don't know what this is. I don't know if it's because your brain is just like on overdrive because you're pregnant and you're like constantly thinking about being pregnant, so you have dreams that I have no idea. I have no idea what it is, but yeah. Okay guys, so these last 4 things that I want to talk about. Oh, it's getting hot. I'm gonna take a break.